The topic of the project is the impact of free trade zones on Chinese regional development and economic growth. First of all, I will talk about the basic information of FTZ. It is a designated area where trade and investment policies are liberalized, which exerts a great impact on promoting international trade and investment liberalization. It's different from general economic zone, with the characteristics of greater openness and liberalization, autonomy and flexibility, and it has certain power to design policies that suit their own needs. In China, the construction of FTZs began in 2013, and 22 have been established. FTZs contributed about 18% of Chinese total foreign investment and import-export volume, and cumulatively promoted innovation over 300 across the country, which is of landmark significance in the process of reform and opening.
As China's first free trade zone, Shanghai Free Trade Zone have developed for more than 10 years and has gone through three phases. In the first phase, it aimed at testing China's new reform strategies and promoting trade liberalization. In the second phase, Shanghai Free Trade Zone expanded its area to facilitate further reform and open up. In the third phase, officials put more emphasis on high-quality development and technological innovation. During the development of Shanghai Free Trade Zone, the government has set various policies, which contributes to its success. Shanghai Free Trade Zone has implemented innovative tax policies. It allows delayed customs declaration and offers lower corporate income tax of 15%, which allows corporations to operate more flexibly and efficiently. Recently, the stamp duty preferential policies for offshore trade have been launched, which lowers the transaction cost and makes offshore trade more attractive. What's more, Shanghai Free Trade Zone adopts the negative list mechanism, which explicitly lists the prohibited industry categories and fields for foreign investment. The high market openness degree can attract foreign investment and promote trade. Another important innovation is the free trade account, which makes currency conversion between local and foreign currencies become more freely. With all these innovative policies, Shanghai Free Trade Zone has increased Shanghai's GDP growth rate by 1.89%.
Since the construction of the Shanghai Free Trade Zone, the economic development of the surrounding regions has been greatly boosted. In 2018, President Xi announced the establishment of the Hainan Free Trade Zone and support for Hainan to promote the construction of a free trade port with distinctive Chinese features. In 2020, the central government issued the overall program for the construction of the Hainan Free Trade Port, which outlines three main development goals. The first target period is approaching. It is, by 2025, achieve east-and-west independent customs operation. The principle is liberalize the first line, control the second line, and freedom in the whole eastern. Set up a first line between the Hainan Free Trade Port and the other countries, allowing the free entry and the exit of international commodities, ships, and goods into and out of Hainan. Establish a second line between the Hainan Free Trade Port and the rest of the country, with formalities, taxes, and fees by import regulations. In 2023, the overall situation in Hainan was promising. Hainan achieved an impressive annual economic growth rate of 9.2%, surpassing the national average by 4%. The development of the free trade port also yielded significant achievements. The 30% tariff exemption for value-added processing encourages enterprises to engage in high value-added production activities. This policy reduced tariff, lowered business production costs, and enhanced their competitiveness in the international market. As a result, the value-added growth of the agricultural processing industry reached 28%. Moreover, the establishment of the free trade port promoted Hainan towards becoming an international tourism and consumption center. After 4 years of development, Hainan has become a shopping haven for many. In 2023, the annual value of duty-free shopping on the East End reached 43.76 billion, a growth of 25.4%, with a nearly 60% increase in shoppers.
Shanghai and Hainan Free Trade Zones have a lot of similarities. They are both pilot sites for reforms and open up, and have the common goal of promoting trade and growth. Both areas have set policies to simplify the approval procedures and increase market openness to attract the foreign investment. However, there are also variations between Shanghai and Hainan Free Trade Zones. The difference in locations lead to differences in their objectives. Shanghai Free Trade Zone, located at the mouth of the Yangtze River, has a natural advantage in finance and transportation. Therefore, it focuses on financial liberalization and international trade logistics. Meanwhile, Hainan Free Trade Zone has abundant tourism resources and favorable climate for agriculture, and it puts emphasis on developing tourism, service sector, and agriculture. Shanghai and Hainan Free Trade Zone has unique policies to attract foreigners based on their different objectives. For example, Shanghai Free Trade Zone uses negative list mechanism to attract foreign investors to achieve liberalization in financial sector, while Hainan Free Trade Zone uses visa-free policy to increase tourism. What's more, Shanghai and Hainan Free Trade Zones have different development status and directions. Shanghai Free Trade Zone is in the stage of deepening reforms and is transforming to high-quality development, while Hainan Free Trade Zone is one of the most recent free trade zones and will transform into China's first free trade port by 2025.
As establishment of free trade zone brings a lot of influence to China's economic development, the impact can be separated in three aspects. Firstly, it attracts more foreign investment. Based on the graph, it can be seen that the foreign direct investment increased from nearly $124 billion in 2013 to $189 billion in 2022, which increased more than 50%. According to the statistic, asset investment in China has continued to grow in recent years, from nearly $8 billion to more than $10 billion between 2020 and 2021. And by July 2023, the total cumulative investment between China and the ASEAN nation surpassed $380 billion, accompanied by over 6,500 Chinese firms engaged in direct investment within ASEAN. Secondly, the establishment of free trade zone in China also facilitates technology transfer and innovation. For example, Shanghai identifies AI industry as an important driver for its economic development, and its Lingang special area has attracted both domestic and international resources that dedicate to innovation. The output value of the automobile industry in the Lingang area reached more than 260 billion yuan in 2022. And in 2023, their overall industrial production increased by 22%, reaching a total of 433 billion yuan, and the total fixed asset investment also raised by around 10% compared to previous year. Thirdly, the efficiency of international trade between China and the rest of the world also improved. Based on the above figure, Chinese export of goods had a significant growth, rising from $2.21 trillion to $3.6 trillion during 2013 and 2022. And considering the global economic slowdown following the global financial crisis and the COVID-19 pandemic, the growth rate in 2021 and 2022 were particularly remarkable, with a 39% increase from 2020 levels. Additionally, export of service has shown even faster growth, rising from $207 billion in 2013 and to more than $400 billion in 2022, representing a 100% growth rate.
Last part is constraints and suggestions. The first problem need to address is in short term, the size and effect is greater than the spillover effect in some free trade zones. The spillover effect of Shanghai FTZ is large obviously, but this has not yet been realized completely in other FTZs. The more general situation is that the establishment of FTZs led to the concentration of capital, talent, technology, and other factors of production, widening the gap with the neighboring regions in short term. Therefore, the function of the FTZ in serving regional economy still needs to be strengthened. The second problem is that there is low capacity for reform and innovation in FTZs. Most of the policy innovation are focused on custom clearance and supervision reform, with fewer measures incorporating local characteristics. The fundamental reason for this phenomenon is insufficient decentralization by the government and the lack of relevant laws on FTZs at the national level. Institutional innovation involves various uncertainties, and if there is a lack of specialized laws to support it, the risk will be literally high, and ultimately the innovation is likely to be a mere formality. The last constraint needs to be mentioned is the limited functional space for FTZs. Central China has 22% of China's population and generates 22% of GDP, yet there are only 2 free trade zones in Henan and Hubei. China's western region contains the largest number of provinces, bordering 13 countries, but there are fewer free trade zones along the western border. Therefore, there is a great need to set up a certain number of additional FTZs according to different positioning. For China's eastern coastal regions, the space of FTZs is generally small. It's possible to draw on the experience of expansion of the Shanghai FTZ to absorb neighboring regions with industrial bases and complete infrastructures to upgrade the space and effectiveness of the free trade zone. That's all for our presentation. Thank you for listening.